Hi everyone, so this is my next video and I wanted to talk primarily here a little bit about my journey, mostly from the perspective of fat adaptation and how there is a solution for every problem. And for anyone involved with obesity medicine, diabetes type 2, it's even applicable to type 1, turns out cancer, heart disease, almost every chronic disease, especially autoimmunity. There's a pretty coherent, explanatory, very robust theory that people are arriving at around the world, independently of each other, that people are already living by and healing themselves with. So it's a really deep and explanatory yet simple theory that explains both why people get a chronic disease, why they get morbid obesity, why conventional advice doesn't work, and conversely, why, if you want to call this body of science metabolic syndrome theory science, fat adaptation science, evolutionarily based nutrition science, however it's easiest for you to conceive of or most useful, I'm definitely cool with that. And what it does is it provides a framework that anyone's individual N equals 1 best diet will differ a little bit, but the underlying theory will be the same, which is that hyperinsulinemia drives chronic conditions, drives constant hunger, because hyperinsulinemia results in the human body getting away from its evolutionary default, which is not to use carbohydrates as its primary fuel source, but only in times of anaerobic periods of exertion, like sprinting away from a tiger. But everyday use, we're supposed to use our body fat. Our body fat's there at times of food scarcity. It's there for daily usage. The body loves to have as little insulin produced as possible. So we're designed to thrive on a high natural fat diet, which results in being fat adapted. And that's exactly what happened to me and my family. So I had the breakthrough that I was always hungry when I was morbidly obese, 300 pounds, always hungry. So I wasn't even really looking to lose weight per se. I was trying to avoid some chronic diseases. But the thing I was most trying to do was get away from hunger. So when we tell somebody comes in morbidly obese or just overweight and always hungry, telling them to drop calories and exercise more is absurd. It's completely absurd once you think about it for more than 10 seconds. When you get away from a knee-jerk reaction that's the solution to, hey, that's crazy, can't possibly work, then you start focusing on how do I get people to eat in a way that they're not hungry. And for me, as soon as I went low carb, high fat, after a few weeks, my insulin levels went down. My hormones started to get back to their evolutionary base levels, and all my stored body fat was recognized and accessible by my body. And then it was effortless. And there is a transition period. It's called fat adaptation. So every human being, if they're a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a child, we need to help one another. And if you are in any way connected as a vocation or avocation with the health field, you have to understand fat adaptation. Research it. It should be the key thing, because most of the people that are presenting to you have hyperinsulinemia and they have a host of chronic diseases, and it's all reversed by becoming fat adapted. All right, everyone, be their best selves.